Hello everyone, we will continue the topic Singleton class as a part of ABAP. Oops. So firstly, we understood what is a Singleton class. Then in the last video, we started with the implementation steps. So firstly, we took the instance generation as private. Whenever you will take the instance generation as private, you cannot create the object outside the class. Now, if you have instance methods, how you can call those methods through the object, but you cannot create the object outside the class. So we will write the logic to create the object in the class itself, in Singleton class itself. So in the Singleton class itself, we declared the object, we have written the logic to create the object. And SAP is saying it is recommended that you give the method get underscore instance, but it's not a compulsion. If you give anything else also, no problem, but it is recommended that by the name itself, we can understand that this method is giving us the instance. Because this method is giving us the instance, we are getting the instance from this particular method. Now, we'll simply go for calling into this particular program. Now into this particular program, we want to call this instance method, this sum method. Now, I cannot go for creation of the object because instance generation is private, but the object creation logic is into this particular method. So I will simply call this method first. Whenever I will call this method, this logic will trigger. Whenever this logic will trigger, object will create, and with the help of that object, I will simply call this sum method. So just you can see, we are not creating outside the class. It is in the class itself, and we are simply getting. So we will simply write the logic. So firstly, I will go to pattern. I will go to ABAP object patterns. Now your get underscore instance, it's a static method. So it means you can simply call through class. This is your class and this is your method. Yes. I will go for OK. Now it will return me the object. Yes. That's why I have taken returning parameter. So whenever we will call this method, just see whenever we will call this method, it will check this allo underscore object, whatever we declared into this singleton class, that static attribute. If it is not created, it will create, it will return. Whenever it will return, we have the object into this particular allo underscore object. We will get the object. Now we will call that instance method. I'll just see. Okay, that has not saved. Okay, I'll just check. I think in another program I need to call. It's a wrong program. Yes, here. Sorry, I did that part there. Yes, here I need to, because this is our singleton class. Yes. I'll just write the logic. By mistake, I did there. I'll just close this session. Done. Now, we have the object. Now, if we have the object, can I call the instance method? Yes. Pattern, ABAP object patterns. Now, allo underscore object. This is our class, and this is our method. You can see in this whole program, there is no logic we have written to create the object. Object creation logic is in the method itself. This is your P underscore input 1, P underscore input 2. This is your LV underscore out. I'll go for right. I'll check the syntax and I will understand in the debugging mode. 100% you will understand. I'm putting a breakpoint. I'll go to run. I'm giving 10, 20. Throughout that whole execution, you will see the single instance or single object. There is no multiple object. Yes. Now, object is blank as of now. If I want to go inside this method, I will simply do F5. Now, this is the logic which we have written. SAP will check, yes. Whatever the object we declared into the class, whatever the object we declared, is it blank or it is created? It is blank as of now. So now it will create. Now you can see it is created. When created, it is returning to this particular RO underscore object, which is returning parameter. Now you can see LO underscore object. We got the object, but we have not written the logic into this particular program, not outside the class. It is in the class method itself. Now object is created. Can I call this some method? Yes, if I want to go inside the method, this is 10, this is 20. It is making sum and the output is 30. Yes. Now people will say, you are saying it is a single object creation. Suppose if I am calling this method again. Suppose I am calling this method again. Whenever you will call this method, people will say this particular logic will again trigger create object name. It will again create the instance. Then why you are saying it is a single instance or single object creation? Just see this line. That's why I have written. I'll just go for activation. I'll show you. It will not create the object second time. I'm putting a breakpoint. Throughout whole execution, we have only one single instance or object. And it is very important whenever we go for log. I'm going for 10, I'm going for 20. Now, I will go inside the method. Object not created. Now the object created. We are returning from this particular method. Now we have the object. With the help of this object, we are calling this instance method. Done. LV output 30. Now we are again calling this method. Now see, the object is already created. Yes, static attribute, single object, single instance. Yes, the object is already created. Now this create object will not execute. We are simply returning. Just see throughout the whole execution, we have only one single object or instance. And it's very important whenever we want to go for log from the single object perspective. Anyways, I'll come to that part whenever I'll come on to agent as a part of persistence class. So what is the summary of this particular video? Again, extremely important understanding, yes, from the interview perspective. We want to call this sum method. It's a instance method. It means you require a object. Now, into this particular method, we have the object creation logic. So I simply call this method as it is a static method. So I simply called through the class itself. We are getting the object. With that object, we are calling this instance method. Now people will say, if I will call this method again, system will again create the object. Then why you are saying it's a single object creation? We have written a statement. If the object has not created, only in that case you need to create. So first time it will create. Next time it will be not initial. It means this logic will not execute. We are just returning yes. And we are simply go for execution of other lines of code. After that, we might have so many lines of code which we are calling through this particular object, but we have only single object or single instance throughout the program execution. Here, single object, same object is going throughout the program execution. Now, in the next video, we will understand why agent class is one of the best example, real-time example of singleton class. And in the next video, you will simply understand what is the real-time use of singleton class from the logging perspective. So that's it in this video. Thank you.